friends and foes, my name is Kate and this is my channel, Chapter Kate. And today I'm going to be completely trashing this pile of hot garbage. Why, you ask? Because it deserves it! So this is Go Mutants by Larry Doyle. Larry Doyle was a writer, I think, for The Simpsons. And he also wrote I Love You, Beth Cooper, which is apparently more well known than this book. Can't imagine why. I'm sure it's just as bad. The main character, also known as Jim throughout the entire book, except for from a select few characters, is the son of an alien who came down from space and tried to dominate the world by giving us all these nice fancy technologies, and then making us dependent on them. And his mother is this hypersexual cat-like being, so he's a mutant. I don't know what I expected when I picked up this book. I just like weird stuff, so I was like, hey, this looks weird. And sometimes weird is bad. Sometimes it's just bad. I like to be one of those people who's like, weird doesn't mean bad, but this is bad. For the sake of myself and the fact that I can barely speak words half the time, I'm going to be referring to the main character as Jim. Jim is your average everyday boy, except for the fact that he's a mutant and his dad tried to destroy the world and all that good stuff. But he has a crush on a girl, he is just trying to survive high school, he's being bullied, can't imagine why. Is it because his brain's on the outside of his body? Maybe. Is it because his skin is blue? Probably. Is it because he has a hot mom and a world-dominating dad? Absolutely. But it's also because he has a penis finger. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that there's no way for me to censor this entire video, so I'm just gonna talk, and if you are offended by lewd things, I'm so sorry. This book is disgusting. So Jim really likes movies. He either wants to be a director or he wants to write for movies or something. I don't know if it's ever clarified. I was distracted by all the hot garbage. Throughout the book there are these little clips that kind of look like this. It's only like at the start of each chapter maybe. I don't know. It's a thing. And it's one of the few, like, interesting things about this book. I take that back. There's a lot of interesting things about the book. This is one of the few redeeming qualities, is that it does this cool little thing every chapter. So now that we have the good stuff out of the way, let's jump into everything else. The book starts off with one of those little cutscenes, and in it, it kind of describes Jim as going through one of those typical, like, nightmares you have in teen sitcoms and stuff, where like, oh no, you're at school and you embarrass yourself in front of this girl, even though just a minute ago it was okay, and also you forgot your pants and you have a test. One of those dreams. But at some point it describes his finger as like a penis. So I guess his finger's a penis. So his fingers like extend or something and they can do stuff. But it describes it like a penis. I don't know if you can tell by the cover, but he has like a brain on the outside of his head, and apparently he can create like infinite universes in his head. And I'm like, we all have an imagination, dude. You're not special. But yeah, he has a crush on this chick, and the chick likes him back, but he never makes a move because he's a total pansy, and he didn't realize he liked the chick until she started liking other people because he's possessive. Shocking that the son of somebody who tried to take over the world is possessive. And his best friend is described as an ape man multiple times throughout the book, and it's weird. There's a mutant who's basically just a bunch of jelly, like they call him Jelly, I think is a nickname. It was confusing because sometimes they called him Jelly and sometimes they called him by a name, so I think it's the same character, but I got confused. So Jelly essentially remains in the form of a fat teen boy so he can eat whatever he wants and no one will judge him, which doesn't work because he gets bullied. Oh, and he also gets killed at one point. I think he comes back, sort of, but he gets killed. But also, it seems like everyone gets killed at some point. The narrator of the book is consistently obsessed with teenage sex organs and consistently refers to female students as glands or a pair of glands. Literally says that like someone's being approached by a pair of glands at one point. Ew. Not only that, but there's a lot of weird comments from the parents in this book towards their kids and towards other kids. Like, real weird. Like, it borders on incest. The mother of the main character of this book is very hypersexual, which is totally fine. I'm not shaming anyone for being sexual or anything. But it's like constant innuendos, which can be funny in certain circumstances, but when it's constantly talking to her son that she's having these conversations. At one point, the bully and his little friends decide that they're going to sexually harass the main character at this like drive-in movie type situation. I think that's what was happening. And they basically strip him bare in front of a bunch of people and realize he doesn't have a penis. And then everyone's embarrassed. But the thing is, the girl that he likes already knew because they were like childhood best friends and stuff. So she knew he didn't have a penis. But now there's all this talk about this guy's penis. Him and the bully are like in this constant back and forth spat throughout the book, and at some point the bully like finds a gun and tries to kill the main character, and then the main character sort of explodes in fire and dies, but then like isn't dead anymore and is hard on the outside now. Instead of being blue and squishy, he's like a hard bronze looking dude. And of course the mom was like, oh, now you're hard just like your father. He even finds a picture of his naked mom in a magazine and is like, ugh. But why? For what? Why? At one point, the bully goes into this strip club looking for Jim's cat mom and instead finds his own mom that is like, and then she's like, and then he runs away and she's like, wait, we have 15 minutes. Like, what kind of Oedipus complex motherfucking nonsense is going on? And then the bully finds Jim's cat mom and threatens her with sexual assault and a gun, and then she stabs him. So at least that happened. And then something happens and the love interest is upset, so he's like, I know you're menstruating. And then she's like, can you smell it? And he said, yeah. Why? And then there was another classmate who opened her coat and had like several boobs or something. I don't know. A rocket fell from the sky at one point and it was described as falling phallically. Someone was fatally burned and her body was still described as sexy. Then there was this girl and she did something and her dad basically commented on her giant chest. If you're confused because there's no plot, yeah, there was barely any plot. I was very confused the entire time. Literally all the events that happened could have been in any order and it would have made just as much sense. I just have so many feelings about how garbage this is. Like, I would just like rip it and I would feel really good about it, but I'm not gonna. But I could, and I would feel really good about it. I shouldn't, right? I shouldn't literally burn a book, right? That would look bad. You know, like if I own this, then wouldn't it be okay? I don't know. Don't try that at home. I mean, I'm not your mom, so. In summary, M is a weird squishy blue guy who turns into a hard bronze tall guy. His dad tries to take over the world. I think at the end they discovered that he wasn't actually trying to take over the world, but he was in some kind of bunker, but it never really gets explained very well. Everything is about teenage sex organs, and there's a lot of incest innuendos. No actual incest, just a lot of comments that are grody. He may or may not have blue penis fingers. I'm not entirely sure. At some point he does stick his long weird fingers into someone's ears, which I can't I have a thing about ears, and it brings them back to life, and then they're like a zombie, and they're like, ah. Just don't read it. Just don't read it. It's garbage. Please don't read this. Don't put yourself through this. You deserve to be happy. You deserve it. But that is all. This got a 1 out of 5. If I could give it 0, I would give it 0, but I don't know how to do that. Is that a thing on Goodreads? I gave it a 1 star. I didn't DNF it. I wish I had. It's upside down. I don't care. Don't read it. That's all. I really like weird books. If you want something weird like that, I recommend reading Welcome to Night Vale because it gives you all the really weird, ironic monster goodness without all the perversion. So if you want weird, go with that. And if you have any recommendations for weird books that aren't that, please leave them below. But that is all for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let out that breath you didn't know you were holding. Bye! Tripping over shadows and I'm drowning in the night.